Rob from Cymet, and I'm back today to talk about derailleur hangers. Very simple piece of hardware that was invented around, say, the late 80s, early 90s, kind of when aluminum bike frames kind of started coming into an existence. And it's a simple piece of hardware put on most modern frames, although there are modern transmissions and universal things that make it a little obsolete. But currently, most frames do have a derailleur hanger of some sort, and they're on there to, in essence, protect the frame if it's to get in a wreck. If you've got this derailleur hanging off of most frames, and if you get in a wreck and it pushes the derailleur in, if it was a carbon fiber hanger that the derailleur was screwed into, a lot of times it would just break it. Now, there are carbon fiber dropouts and hangers out there that do get broken from time to time, trying to basically run the point home. But there's a lot of myths and misconceptions on what the hanger does and how it should be worked with, how it should be fixed, utilized, checked, and used. And I'm kind of hoping to clarify some of that. Now, there's all sorts of shapes and sizes and manufacturers of derailleur hangers, and they're going to be specific to every bike that's out there. So you can't really make generalizations and say all hangers are one way or all hangers are another way. So when in doubt, check with the manufacturer of your bicycle to see which hanger that you need, or there's some good online resources to allow you to check and see which hanger you need as a replacement. So the hanger is usually bolted to the frame and it allows the derailleur to actually mount to it. And the whole purpose of it is, if you can see here, is to line up your pulleys and your cogs. Keep everything in plane perpendicularly to the spindle of the axle of the wheel itself. And if the derailleur is out of plane, kicked one way or the other or twisted, then it's not going to shift correctly across all of those cogs. So that's why it's critical, and it's the most important thing when it comes to shifting performance. It's what we check first. It's what good mechanics check first. A lot of them will just get back there on a mechanical derailleur and just start adjusting the tension on the barrel adjuster, but that's actually not the right way to go about it. The very first thing that you need to do is you need to check the alignment of the hanger. Now, to check and maintain derailleur hangers, there's all sorts of different tools that have been made over the years. They're all pretty much the same, though. This is a popular one from Park Tool. Basically, all it does is it threads in to the hanger just like a derailleur would. And then you check different spots to see how far the wheel is spaced all the way around. There's a cool one from Shimano back in the day that I still have somehow. One from Unior. They're pretty much the same. They all do the same thing. Now, an important thing to make sure that you do when you use a hanger adjustment tool is to always use the same point on the wheel. The easiest thing to do is just to go where the valve is. So after you've got it mounted, the derailleur off, you run in your indicator. In this case, it's just a dumb pull. Sometimes we use even an Allen wrench when we're in the field. Until it touches the rim, slide it in, and you want to check it at about 180 degrees from where you were. If they're both touching, then that hanger is in the right plane, is equidistant in that one particular plane. Then I always go 90 degrees, check there, and if that's working, you're pretty much all set. So then you know that the hanger is straight. If it's not straight, what you have to do is you have to use the leverage of the hanger tool to bend the hanger in the direction that you want it to go. You're looking to even it out on both sides. So typically, I will find how far it is off. I'll gauge the gap, and I'll bring this down and kind of bend it in so it's about half that gap. Go back up and reset my indicator, go back down to the other side and check it. It's pretty easy to do. Now, this is where the myth part of it comes in. A lot of shops are under the mistaken belief that, well, they read an article written a long time ago by a man by the name of Sheldon Brown, who talked about the idea that these are made out of aluminum. They're made to be sacrificial. They're supposed to break before the frame does, or the derailleur, hopefully. But the reality is, so because it's made out of aluminum, everybody wants to think that it has a very low fatigue strength, which means that if you go bending it back and forth, it will snap. It is kind of part of the design. So a lot of shops think, well, if it's not straight, then you just need a whole replacement hanger. That's the very first thing that you have to do. Because if you bend it, it's going to be super weak and it's never going to work right anymore. This is incorrect. Most hangers, even when you put it on a brand new hanger onto a brand new frame, if it's carbon fiber, odds are that frame isn't straight to begin with. So where it's bolted onto the frame sets it up in an impossible angle for it to ever be lined up. So even brand new, when you mount up a derailleur hanger, you have to use a hanger alignment gauge to get it in plane. You have to bend it. You have to bend the hanger and get it into plane. Obviously, don't go crazy on it. When you do, you're going to break the hanger. So basically, make sure, so you can bend a hanger. You have to bend a hanger. And 9 times out of 10, when somebody comes to me and they say that they've got a shifting issue, that's the first thing that I'm going to check. It's not going to be the tension on the cable. It's not going to be, the shifter or anything else. 9 times out of 10, this hanger is out of alignment and just needs to be put back. Putting it back will restore almost perfect performance every time. Now, that's because this is one of the foundation issues with cycling, or with shifting. There's a couple different key points, and I want to get into that in a future video and go over all those different things. But this is probably one of the most important and one of the easiest to find and fix, and that's the derailleur hanger. So at the end of the day, it's okay to bend your hanger to get it lined up and make sure that it's going to function the way that it needs to. But one thing to keep in mind, before you go to bend it, yes, it could break. Get in touch with the manufacturer of your bicycle, talk to your local shop, buy a backup hanger. It's always a good idea to have at least one backup hanger for every frame that you have sitting on hand, so that if, God forbid, you do end up breaking the hanger while aligning it, you have an instant replacement right there and ready to go. That way you don't lose any time riding. If you race cyclocross, I highly encourage you to bring at least one, if not two, versions of your hanger with you to every race. Why? So that when it breaks, mechanics like me aren't sitting there going, well, do you have a hanger? And believe it or not, you may break 2 in the same season. Remember, its job is to break, not the frame, not the derailleur, the hanger. So hopefully this helps to demystify the whole idea of what a derailleur hanger is and explains it at least in a little bit more useful detail for you. If you like the video, go ahead and click the like button. Do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. Always helpful. Share it with your friends. Thanks again.